Tonight on the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean, Rita Moreno joins the family. Chip and Dale are back, baby, and Daredevil's heading to Disney Plus. All this and more tonight on the 99th episode of the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean.
Change the game just now. I have a rave.
These are the best ideas I've ever heard.
I'm saying that's the commentary that will exist.
A Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Defiled Mickey Mouse.
Oh my god!
Welcome to the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean. I am Joe. He is Sean. And this is episode 99, which means next week is episode math teacher 100.
I was going to order the red balloons for this episode, but I didn't think the bit would stick on a podcast.
They would fill that room you're in, too.
They absolutely would, actually.
Sean, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I have this great thing going on with my car where the radio is glitched, and so it stays on the whole time. So every time I park and I leave somewhere, I have to jump it. So I'm in some damn fine mood right now.
Oh, that is something, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
they're
really
going to fix it
exciting.
eventually, but,
Did you get a new car for your birthday?
I didn't. No. If I got a new car and this was the problem with it, I would have been pretty pissed.
That would have been really frustrating. Sean, it was your birthday yesterday. You are how old?
I am 33, Larry Bird year.
Larry Bird year. That is extremely exciting, and we're very happy that we're able to celebrate with you tonight. And I brought a few friends along the way to do it with us. So here you go.
Oh no, the sound doesn't work.
There's no sound.
Oh no,
There's no sound.
this is
Oh, it's ruining my life.
No, it's okay. The first one was spoiled.
Hold on, we're gonna go to Chrome. But Sean, talk to us about your birthday real quick.
Oh well, I decided to eat every unhealthy food that could be imaginable. So now I'm trying to go on a just salad diet. So I have a salad at lunch, a salad at dinner, and then a sleeve of Oreos around midnight while I cry. And it's
While I cry.
it's been going dynamite so far.
Okay, well that sounds really wonderful to me. I would definitely sign up for that because we all know that I love junk food. So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
were you given the freedom to watch anything that you wanted to watch this weekend?
There was I have a lot of loving family that all wanted to hang out with me and buy me dinners and go out to dinners, and I was so happy with that. But that did mean that there was not much time for me to watch things, which is okay. It's a good problem to have, without a doubt. But
Well, that's pretty frustrating. I'm kidding.
there's a part of me that was just like put me in a tube and just let me watch movies. But
Put me in a tube and let me watch movies. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I do have something I want to share with you in just a few minutes, but before we get to that, while it is loading and doing all of its good stuff here, why don't we dive into what we've been watching and start talking about the first one that I think we both watched and both enjoyed.
Oh yes.
Although I was like raving my ass off about it. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale, the reboot that hit Disney Plus. And this is a really interesting one where toons are basically being kidnapped and forced into reboots or remakes or knockoffs, bootlegs.
Knockoffs,
Bootlegs.
spaghetti dogs.
Yeah. And it is quite the movie. Chip and Dale back for the first time in a long time. Sean, what did you think of this?
I like this quite a bit. And, like both of us said, we're kind of surprised this was as good as it was. Like when we saw the trailer, we all clowned it. We all dunked on it. It was, just like this seemed like way too ridiculous. But it turns out to be pretty great. It was very meta without crossing that line. Which like really absolutely blew me away because that was my one concern. I'm like, oh, you're gonna do a million jokes. None of them are, they may land, but it's gonna be nothing but jokes. But this was just it never got annoying. All of the jokes had a solid bit of substance to the plot. They weren't just one-offs, which was really surprising. All of that was great. John Mulaney and Andy Samberg were perfectly cast. I mean, the voices of John Mulaney being sarcastic and kind of the guy that took the safe way out as, the insurance salesman Chip. and Dale is still like going to all the Comic-Cons, and Andy Samberg is just like always wanting to be loved, and like they both played up their personas so well. I will say this movie did get me bored around like the second to third act. Not the third act is totally.
Did you have third act issues, Sean?
I did. That's exactly why I didn't say that. I wanted to avoid saying it was third act issues. It was kind of something where like the story didn't totally do it for me, and not to say like the story is the reason to see this movie, but like there was something where like the story was so clever up until then, and then it got a little bit too like overwashed, and Other than that, though, I still recommend this movie wholeheartedly. For the people that do rave about it, Joe, I fully understand and fully agree with your raves. This is a pretty damn fine movie.
It was absolutely wonderful, and I do not appreciate the slander on the third. No,
I knew that. You can't.
Didn't I say last week? Watch next week when we fight about Chippendale Rescue Rangers or something.
Well, when you put the anger emoji face on the review, I was like, "Damn it, Joe! I'm agreeing with you."
No, I think I was just pleasantly surprised with this. Like it's not something that I would have expected to be good, honestly. And it also begs the question, and I saw this on some websites, as to whether or not this should have been in theaters. And I feel like it was a gamble ahead of it, right? They probably didn't know what they were going to get there. But I don't know. I kind of think maybe this could have done well in theaters because the word of mouth for this is really good. And again, who the hell would have thought that Chip and Dale in the year 2022 would be a movie that we're all raving about?
I almost want now. It's a bummer that this wasn't in theaters. It really is, because it would have been interesting to see. Like, this wouldn't have been a breakout hit, but it would have been a word of mouth hit. Like, easily would have been a word of mouth hit. But now I want this to win the Emmy for best television movie over like The Survivor, like where it's just like Chippendale Rescue Rangers is the one that conquers this, and that would just be like unbelievable. But oh man.
I was getting some questions about like how they were able to include so many characters, because if you look at it, I mean, Ugly Sonic is the main one to talk about, but there are tons of non-Disney properties in this movie. At one point, Randy from South Park is in the steam room. Did you catch that?
Like for a brief moment, but it's because someone spoiled it for me beforehand. But like, I'm almost glad they did, because I wouldn't have looked for that. I probably would have missed it.
Well, and that's also the thing about this movie. I want to go back and watch it again because I feel like there's so much more in the background that I could have caught. But the way that they got around a lot of this was actually parody. And so like there's something of copyright law that if you change something just enough and it's a parody of whatever, that you're able to move forward. So I think it was the writers or maybe the director. Someone made a comment in one of the interviews saying like, thank you to Disney's lawyers for helping us get around everything. Because think about that. It's insane.
That's almost like what the movie is, with like the weird reboots and like, they're able to do spaghetti dogs. And that's probably how they got away with Lady and the Tramp, which was like a brilliant toss away joke. It's just like all of these different ones, spaghetti dogs. Or the fact that they had to go to the uncanny valley, and that was like the bad place to be. And you see a couple of members of Cats.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I just thought it was incredibly intelligent. So very much into that. Let's take a little diversion here. I got this video ready to go. It turns out that I can figure out how to use technology after a while. But we are going to play a happy birthday message for you, Sean. And I hope that you enjoy this. And here you share tab. Okay, here we go. Music will start in a sec.
Okay, good.
Sean, math teacher movies. Brandon, aka the Brando critic here. Just wanted to say have a wonderful happy birthday, or as they like to say it in Canada, happy birthday. Take care, buddy.
Sean, math teacher movies, mate. Birthday from the land down under. Happy birthday from Australia. I can't believe you're 21 again. That's incredible. Look, you're an incredible movie reviewer. I love your reviews. You're an amazing podcaster. And most of all, you balance that all while being a husband and a math teacher. You would have been a great math teacher for me. I flunked out in the 10th grade. I probably needed you around for that. But again, happy birthday. Best wishes. Have an amazing birthday.
Little Bird just told me it's Sean's birthday, and I just wanted to leave him a message. He's one of the nicest guys I met on Instagram. He has a great take on movies, and
questionable
podcast.
Hey, Sean. Hayden from the Dive In Movie Cast here. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday. Hoping you're spending your time with the people you care about, watching something good. Can't wait to talk soon, and of course, we'll have to do a pod. Take care.
Hey Sean, it's Kristen aka Miss Flamingo here, wishing you a very happy birthday. I can't wait to see more incredible reviews from you and have a great year. Cheers to you.
Hey Sean, you go by the term Math Teacher Movies, but to me and to a lot of the other people on YouTube, you mean so much more. You helped me out in so many different instances. You're a great friend. You're just a great person in general. So for myself, the movie nerd, and Chris of the Talking TV family, I just wanted to wish you a big happy birthday, man. Enjoy it.
Hello, Sean. Luke here, and I just wanted to wish you the most happy birthday. Hope you have a great day, but I hope you have an even better podcast.
Greetings, Sean, all the way from Queensland, Australia. That's right, down under, brother. And if I look out the window today, we've got rain, we've got storms, we've got floods, we've got chaos. But you, sir, are most certainly a ray of sunshine. Always have been, always will be. And for that, I'm very honored to say to you today, I wish you a happy birthday and I hope you have a tremendous day. Talk soon.
Hey Sean, it's Yana from the Basic Cinephile, and I just wanted to say 1, 2, 3, 4, happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Happy birthday, may all your dreams come true. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey!
Hey Sean, happy birthday, buddy. I hope you have an incredible day, and after whatever awesome plans Sam has planned for you, that is just awesome. Have an amazing day, buddy.
Hey Sean, how you doing, man? From all of us here at Flick Fan Nation, Sean, we want to wish you a happy, majestic, wonderful birthday. It's just me. There's no one else. Still, happy birthday. Have a great day, man. Make it a dandy. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Hey Sean Chandler here, and since you have such a stellar first name, I wanted to wish you a massive happy birthday. Also, I noticed on your recent review of the original Top Gun that you misspelled A+++ and had some other letter there instead. And I just wanted to let you know about that because doing that puts you in the danger zone. Happy birthday and keep talking movies too much. Bye-bye.
Sean, what's up? It's Gio Parsons wishing you the most glorious birthday imaginable. I want you to live it up today. I mean, really go wild. If you get arrested and thrown in jail, we will bail you out. If we can't make the bail, then we will break you out. That's a promise. So go ahead, have the most fun.
Oh my
Enjoy the
God.
birthday. Keep killing it, man.
Wearing our favorite shirt here.
Oh!
Our favorite podcaster, Sean. We want to wish you a happy birthday. Hope it's a good one, man. We love you. Happy birthday.
Hi Sean, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. We can't wait to celebrate more this weekend on Cape Cod.
Oh, Sam!
She couldn't send the video yesterday because you were home all day.
I know, that's actually at our new place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, happy
no.
birthday, bud.
That was so nice of you, and it makes me feel terrible because I don't even know when your birthday is.
I don't know when mine is either.
Oh, good.
Yeah, everyone was so excited to like throw their stuff in. Sean Chandler wanted me to share that he wasn't wearing pants when he was filming that. He did send that to me. I said I did not need to know this. He said, right, but Sean does.
I do. So that's good. John, that was so nice. Thank you for putting that together.
Absolutely. And it's a pleasure to do the podcast with you. I'll share that. I'll send that video to you so you have it.
Oh, definitely.
Everyone was pumped to get in there. So some of them are so funny. I was laughing so hard as they were coming in. But yeah, so happy birthday. Hopefully this will be a good year for you. Already starting off well. You guys are moving into a house in what, a month or so?
Yeah, about a month.
So woof, crazy. Let's backtrack a little bit because this was a sloppy start to the beginning since I wasn't able to like get everything going. Let's talk about trailers before we dive into what else we've been watching. And I want to start off with Thor Love and Thunder. We got it last night. I was sitting in this chair for an hour and a half because they didn't say at halftime. They said tonight during the game. And you know when they did it during the game before? It was like right after the first commercial break or excuse me, during or whatever. Not last night. Last night it was halftime. It was literally halftime. And if you know anything about basketball, you know that the last 2 or 3 minutes of a half are the longest minutes of anyone's lives. So we got the Thor Love and Thunder full trailer. First look at Gore, larger look at Natalie Portman's Jane Foster. Listen, I love Thor Ragnarok. We know this, so I am thrilled about where this is going. But a lot of talk on the internet today, Sean. I don't know if you caught it, about whether or not they're hinting towards the demise of Thor here, with Korg at the beginning saying, "Have you heard the story of Thor Odin's son?"
This is one of those things immediately where like all of a sudden everyone involved in the film was like, crap, we had no intention of even hinting this. And it's just like, now this is going to take off beyond all belief. So now either we do actually have to kill them and we'll do some reshoots, or like we'll, we're just going to be eating the shit later. Oh, man.
I personally am very excited about this. I think Gore looks phenomenal and looks like he is going to bring Christian Bale as Gore, I should say, is going to bring a new level of sinister, because the background of this character is that he, I guess, like prayed to the gods to help save his family, and the gods didn't help. So now he lost his family and he's using this ancient weapon to kill them all off.
Usually we just go lapsed.
It looks insane. So I'm pumped about it. What about you?
I could have done without this trailer. Not to say, and honestly, I should start off by saying, not to say that it was bad or anything like that. It's just that the first trailer was so great and kind of showed everything. I would have, I understand they had to show Gore. I get that. Like, you had to get the hype going. And the hype is there because just pretty much everybody who's like sharing that picture, they're very excited about it. And so it's like, okay, cool. I would have liked to have a little bit more of the mystery with just the first trailer. I think I feel that way about all trailer twos, though. Yeah. So there's I guess that's just going to be me. When it comes to Christian Bale, either he's having fun with this role and having a ton of fun with it, or he's playing it dead ass serious and he's going full blown method. Either way, that's awesome. Yeah. And either way, we're going to get a result that is just spectacular.
When you said the second part, I was like, is that bad? And then yeah, I'm kind of pumped about this. The only thing that bothers me about the trailer is the whole, like, we're supposed to believe based on his conversation with Jane Foster that he's been longing for her for 8 years and whatever, because she's like, how long's it been? 4 years? And he says 8 years, though, however many days. And I'm like, a lot happened in between the last time we saw Jane Foster and this. Are we to suspect that you were kind of like longing for her the entire time?
Well, he was like a pretty solidly depressed dude for like 5 of those 8 years. And so there was no moving on. Granted, he was depressed about causing the end of the world or contributing to it, failing to protect it. But it was one of those things, one of those you pick. But it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's supposed to be there. There was a trailer, I thought, where he was already with someone and Jane shows up, and I might have mistaken that or something. He was already with some other girl, but that could have been like something I just imagined, or I've seen several people dissect this trailer shot by shot, and if they didn't bring it up, then I wouldn't. I think it was in the first trailer.
I feel like it's in the first trailer.
And how this is a weird thing. It's observation. Like, do you notice how you see a lot more in a trailer when it's in theaters? Like, I'll watch it 8 times on YouTube, and then I'll see it once in theaters, and I'm like, I didn't even notice that part. Yeah, it's really weird. I guess bigger screen, but maybe it is that easy.
Well, and apparently there's a statue to the Watcher in it that people have pointed out. So, wow. which hello, that should have been in the last movie. Like, what the fuck? Oh God, drives me crazy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Let's talk about the next one that we got. It came out this morning. It is Netflix's The Gray Man, starring the Russo brothers. My favorite part of this trailer is that they're like what?
I thought it was the greatest line in cinema history now.
But we'll get to that one.
Okay, good.
The one about the omelet or whatever. Yeah, we'll get there. My favorite's the directors that brought you. And it was all Marvel movies. 4 Marvel movies straight.
Oh, I was desperately, and this is what I wanted to bring up. Oh, I was so desperate for them to bring up Cherry after all those. Oh, I just desperately wanted them to do it for comedic effect. Like, if they wanted to make fun of themselves, they could just do Cherry right after that. That would have been a blast.
This is the adaptation of a novel series by the same name. At least the first book is The Gray Man. Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans with a mustache, and Ana de Armas. I actually am very into this. This looks like a lot of fun, right up my alley. It was giving me so many different vibes at different times, like 007, Born Identity. Trying to think of what else I said earlier when I was watching it half asleep. There was some Fast and Furious there because honestly, at the end, that one stunt looked like the Fast and Furious stunt where they're running on the long whatever shit. I'm into this though. It's a big gamble for Netflix. It's $200 million budget. and again, it's Netflix, so they're hoping to launch a entire franchise here. But I'm excited for this. I like their action films that Netflix has put out.
It's weird that Netflix does go for these big action films when they are primarily a living room entertainment company. And that's the part that always drives me nuts. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Extraction, but I was like, I would have loved to have seen this in the theater. Granted, we all watched Extraction like April 2020. So it's like, okay, the theaters don't exist anymore. They're done. And so they keep on going with these like big time action movies, and it's like, yeah, I guess the streamers can do action movies too, but it always seems like I'm going to be missing something by seeing this at home. I will say Gosling and Evans' chemistry, I don't know if they're working together or working against each other. They don't really. There's nothing that really lays that in, or they're
totally against each other, right?
I think so, but there's parts where they have this like crackling chemistry that's a lot of fun, and also, I think I said crackling chemistry in one of my reviews today, so that's probably why. I've got that one cooking. Also, finally, Ana de Armas is hopefully going to kick a little bit more ass than she did in No Time to Die. She kicked ass in No Time to Die, but in one scene. So hopefully, I saw a lot of action scenes with her. So hopefully, she could do like a lot more stunts and become that action heroine that I'm hoping for. But let's bring up the line of "You want to make an omelet," and when they pause that for a bit, I'm like, well, he's not going to say break some eggs. Oh God, is he gonna say kill people? You got to kill some people, and I was like, okay.
I'm trying to find the clip as we're talking.
It's just really tough for me. It's one line. It's meant to be corny for a corny action flick. I understand that. That got me though. That grated me a little bit. But I will loosen up for this movie. I will understand what it is, but it does look entertaining. It does look action packed. But
I'll tell you, the action looks really good just from rewatching it like this while I'm looking for this clip that apparently doesn't exist.
But God bless Chris Evans and that mustache, because he's just kind of going for it. It's a choice.
Bless.
It's a choice.
Found it.
There we go.
Here it comes. And this is going to go down in cinematic history as one of the best lines ever spoken in a trailer. Let me back up a little bit.
You gotta give me my funeral. You're going to next. You want to make an omelet? You gotta kill some people.
Wait, if for the people listening, Chris Evans is sitting on a chair in the strangest of fashions, like as if he's mid sit up.
Gotta kill some people.
That is not how a natural person
with whiskey and pill bottles next to him and oranges, like mandarin oranges.
I mean, he's rocking the hell out of the shirt.
Yo, I want that shirt.
That looks like a very uncomfortable seating position.
Netflix would be able to create like their own shop of clothing just based off of what Chris Evans wears in their movies. Remember the sweater?
The sweater and Knives. The sweater and Knives Out is just like Evans must have his own costume guy that shows up with the costume designer and be like, "You guys collab, but he's with me."
He's mine. He's mine. I'm interviewing the makeup and hairstylist for Moon Knight tomorrow, who's done a ton of major movies and like worked on a ton of major movies like Dune and stuff like that. Oh, wow. And I want to ask that question. Like, there's certain times where, like, I think it was on Spectre. This person was Daniel Craig's makeup and hairstylist person. Like, how does that work? How do you get that person? You know what I mean? Like, you're Daniel Craig's guy. Like, how do you get hired for that specific guy? Is it like a Chris Evans saying he's my guy?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I assume that's. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to assume. I actually have no idea.
You know what happens when you assume, Sean?
I definitely don't get the makeup and hairstyle artist right.
Let's jump back into what we've been watching. I'm going to touch on it real quickly. You're not a big Bob's Burgers guy, right? So this wouldn't be too spoilerish.
No, I am, and I want to see it, but
okay, I won't spoil it then.
Yeah, but I also have for some, I don't know what happened, but I just jumped off in the recent seasons. Just not out of malice, but just out of
We'll forgive you. Something. You can come back at any time. The movie's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. I will say that I go into every animated movie based on an animated series. Like, why do we need this? Like the Simpsons movie, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? But I will say that, compared to previous animated movies of series that I thought were kind of pushing it a little bit. This one was a lot of fun because it took the time to dive into the family a little bit more. There's some revelations about stuff that's been outstanding since the beginning of the series. There's it's a mystery. It's a musical extravaganza. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely do recommend this one. They did a great job with it. And just reading about how much, I think it was on Slash Film. I saw this article today, or this interview, where the filmmakers were basically saying that they're always under pressure when it comes to the series. Like each week, you got to lock it in. You gotta rush. You got to get it done. And they don't get to spend as much time on certain aspects as they wanted to, but they did with the movie. And that comes across, honestly, because there's a different look to the animation. I think I spotted it, or I said it was kind of like there was more light on the animation, so to speak, where you get different like glares and whatever that just make it look really crisp. It was just a lot of fun. Like if you're a fan of the series, you're going to be a fan of this. If you've never seen it before, you'll probably enjoy it. If you don't like Bob's Burgers, you're not going to like this movie. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's always surprising me, just looking at judging by the show alone. It's really surprising how quote unquote adult animation. I don't like. I'd say it's that. Yes, it's an adult animated show. Is so damn wholesome. Where the rest of them are raunchy and cynical, and and that's fine too, and that's fun, and that's like deep, and there's great stuff there. But to have like one that just like literally makes you feel good every time. Yeah. And like I hope the movie kind of stretches that out. I'm glad you mentioned that with the animation, because in the trailers it does feel weird. It's like it feels like it's on the soap opera effect on my TV. I don't know, I don't know what it is. It's very odd.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Yes, it definitely looks different animated wise, but in a good way, or animation wise, I should say. And yeah, the movie continues exactly what you enjoy about the series. There's a lot of heart in it, and it always comes back to the family. And I think that's what makes the series sing as much as it does, or as well as it does, because each of the characters are just so enjoyable for their own reasons. I used to love Tina, and I was like, Tina's my jam, because when she would just go, I'm like, yep, totally get it. But then the shit that comes out of Gene's mouth is some of the funniest stuff in the world. And then even like Louise just being like the smart ass of it all, but actually smart. And I just really find it highly entertaining, and they did a really good job of finding a story that fits, and a story that's worth it. I just had a good time. I had a smile on my face the entire time. So
it's so strange that this is like an only in theaters movie. Like, I mean, it just seems like this would be the one that would be on streaming, but I guess they really wanted to separate themselves from a TV show for this moment.
That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way. This is a holdover from the acquisition of Fox in 20th Century Fox back in the day. Because this has been on the shelf for a while. This was made rumored years ago. And then right after the acquisition, nobody had heard about this. Like everyone was like, what's going on with that movie? Is it happening? And I remember, I think it was one of the animators was like, yeah, it happened. Like it's done. It's out there. I will say, and this is a little bit of spoiler, but not really a spoiler. There's drama around one of the voice actors.
I was wondering about this.
Who voices Jimmy Pesto?
Yep.
But he is not vocal in the movie.
I was just about to ask you. He's in it. I should say more. Okay.
The character is in the background for one scene that I can remember, but not involved at all. So
that's great.
Yeah. He was busy. They did his lines on January 6th.
He's too busy storming the Capitol. Yeah.
He's too busy storming the Capitol. Sean, you had a pretty balanced week of movies.
I love just putting these movies next to each other. It's truly great. But I love that some people would put one movie's an A and one movie's an F, and people will switch those. Like there are people.
Yeah, his name's Darren.
I wasn't gonna call him out, but yes, others too, I think. But so I'll first talk about Men. That's the one that I saw that was like truly, truly wonderful, disgusting, gory, terrifying in ways that aren't the usual terrifying. This movie's spectacular. I mean, this is Alex Garland at his best. And I mean, well, not at his best, pardon me. That's like, we're dealing with Ex Machina and Annihilation, but this is still him at like fairly top tier. This guy hasn't really missed. And, you know, this is his most divisive, I'm seeing from the reactions. But also people said that with Annihilation, and now everyone kind of loves Annihilation. So you got to take some time, especially with me. I walked out of the theater kind of shaking. And then, like, by the time I got home, I was like, oh, no, wait, this is kind of good. You do have to, like, sit with this one for at least a couple of hours, because just sort of like go through it. Jessie Buckley is exceptional with, you know, playing someone who is
mesmerizing.
And just in like the tiny little affectation she does, she has to play off these like all like these strange characters. But then like when she's playing with like, you know, when she's like has to deal with just herself, and it's just like she has to kind of like go through like, you know, what's been in the past, how she's handling that. And it's not just like she's sad all the time. It's like she's happy sometimes. She's working with it sometimes. She's working through those issues. And it's just wonderful seeing that. And then I just got to give a shout out to Rory Kinnear, who I didn't know he played all the roles. I had to be told that. That's
really?
I feel like an idiot, mainly because I was saying, hey, the kid kind of looks weird.
So that was the one where I thought you would get it.
But truly, like I was listening to the credit to Sean Fennessy on The Big Picture. I was, he said like, oh, and they're all played by Rory Kinnear. And I was like, oh, sorry, what? And then I go on there, I'm like, well, another paragraph for my review, because that was insane. So just like, there's something about this where I guess it's easy to say this was like a metaphor for toxic masculinity. I think there's a lot more to that. I think there's a lot more dimensions to that. I love the idea that it could be just about that, but I think there is more to that. I think it's, and even if it is just that, it's delivered in such a proper way that makes you so uncomfortable by the end, where I am just begging for the premiere scene to be over. Like I won't spoil that scene, but I'm just like truly like, and it's not because it's terrifying, but I am just like, like this scene is just horrible. Please stop, please stop, please stop. And then it doesn't stop. It still doesn't stop. And then by the end of it, it's the payoff is so damn perfect. This movie is so satisfying. It's strange though. I can't recommend this for like normal.
So weird.
It's so weird, but it's truly magnificent in the weirdest of ways.
Did you freak out when she opens the door and the guy just starts sprinting towards the door? Because that's when I lost it.
Oh, that was a big one. That was I'll say the closest it got to a jump scare. Not a jump scare, but it was the one moment where I'm like, this is it. This is it. Like, that was the realest home invasion moment.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was just like weird looking naked guy trying to get in. And then all of a sudden, everything after that is far from reality. But like, that is the one moment though where I was just like, that felt the most real. Oh God, I'm getting like little like tinglies right now.
I know, it's so good. That's how I felt afterwards. I just like, I realized I was like hypnotized by what was happening. I think it's definitely toxic masculinity at the core of the message. I think that there's also something to be said for the cycle of protectionism and sort of how like men protect the poor behavior, which definitely is an aspect of the toxic masculinity. And then the other side is just processing grief. And then there's domestic abuse as well. Yeah. I mean, there's so much shit in this.
And there's like the abuse that's in there, like, you know, in like the smallest of ways. There's the emotional abuse in the marriage, and there is the legit domestic physical abuse in the marriage. And it just like really tears you apart from the inside. And then it's just like, and how she's affected by it, where she is a strong woman who is getting through this, and it's still gutting her, of course it is, because she went through hell. And oh man,
I'll tell you, it had a D+ cinema score.
No, it didn't.
It did, but it has a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is 1% better than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I love that.
Is it really a D+ cinema score? That's hysterical.
I believe so. I saw some conjecture about it. Cinema score men. E+.
Man, oh man. Wait, B+ or D+?
D is a dog.
Jesus. That's nuts. I love it. I love that. I kind of love that stuff because I love that this really messed with people. And I think it's going to age like a fine wine, even though, once again, this is the one where it's like these kind of movies I will not recommend to my parents.
Yeah.
No.
It is a wild movie.
I'm going to give about 5 minutes or barely any more time for this next movie because it really bummed me out. senior year was a movie with Rebel Wilson in the lead, and She's Awkward. Isn't that funny? And she plays like she's a high school cheerleader who gets in a coma and comes out, and it's basically got the like bodies like
gets in a coma.
It's basically the body switch kind of thing where, you know, she's back in the day, but now she's in the future. And it's targeting our audience very well. With early aughts is when she ends up in the coma, and, you know, now she's basically our age. And so we're sort of like, we're enjoying those songs. We're enjoying, like, you know, that culture. But that's as far as it goes with that. And then there's nothing else with this story. And it's centered around a character that's very unlikable. And yes, that's because she's a 17-year-old teenager in a 33-year-old body. But there's something about it where it doesn't really reach anywhere. And I can understand like the people that like it for, you know, the nostalgia humor. And I get that. I do really get that. But like that's really all this is when it comes down to it. This has a lot of great supporting performances. That's why it almost got a D from me, is because like I did like the supporting performances, but I mean they like in and out. Like they're like, it's like nothing for them. So they're given nothing to work with, but they do their best. Mary Holland, Sam Richardson, Justin Hartley. I mean, they're all pretty solid. Chris Parnell's pretty good. But after that, it was just like I wanted more of them instead of these leads, because it just doesn't work.
Alicia Silverstone.
So that was that's I guess a spoiler, but also I'm spoiling this movie because this movie's shit. But it was an amazing cameo. Alicia Silverstone does an amazing surprise cameo as the former popular girl that, you know, wasn't actually popular and da. And I don't know. That was a solid cameo. That was like a good little statement piece. But after that, it just kind of fizzled.
Michael Cimino, who plays Victor and Love Victor.
He is great because he is playing a ridiculous character instead of not that he's serious in Love Victor, but he's kind of serious. And so it's great to watch him just goof off and have fun. And he does a great job at that.
Well, I do want to touch on Top Gun Maverick real quick before we still have to figure out if we're going to be able to do a pod for the Patreon. So that's forthcoming. Otherwise, our comments or our full reviews will be next week on the pod. But I saw Top Gun Maverick last week, and I need to back up my story with I did not like the first Top Gun. I am not a fan of it. I think it is total cheese. I don't think it has a story. It is frustrating in a lot of ways. But Val Kilmer was kind of hot when he was younger.
Okay.
I absolutely ended up loving Top Gun Maverick. I had absolute chills from beginning to end, like literally goosebumps. There's not a negative thing I will say about this movie, not one. I literally turned to my supervisor, my sister-in-law, who was at the screening with me, and was like, I think I may have just watched the best movie I've ever seen in my life. It's up there for me. It is absolutely incredible. So all the hype that it's getting, just believe the hype, because it's really a majestic feat.
You knew this had like I haven't seen it yet, but I could tell like this movie at least had utter confidence in it, because it seems like the embargo was lifted like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It seems like they've been doing screeners all month.
They showed it at CinemaCon, which is the annual convention in Vegas for theater owners, and that was the first time it was shown. And they were like, "Yep, tell people about it." After that, and then it premiered at Cannes the night that I saw it, and I came out to like reading the reviews that were absolutely insane, and people were going crazy about it. I can't wait to talk to you about it after you see it, because it's just something special. Oh man.
I don't presume things, but I do think this, like, I can't imagine myself not liking this movie from what I've heard. Like, at least it's got the, like, you know, classic sheen of blockbuster move. So it's like, it's going to be really tough for me not to.
Yeah, it's a classic. And they're talking about how it's probably going to be Tom Cruise's best box office performance, which is kind of wild at this point in his career. And then, of course, you see Paramount jumps right out, and they're like, here's the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer. Enjoy.
How do they not wait until that? Just like, you know, you're obviously going to put that in front of Maverick. Why don't you just wait until then?
Because they're riding that goodwill right now. Like, they don't give a shit. They just want it out there. Tom Cruise is having the best time in his career right now. People like him again.
It's very strange that he hasn't made a movie in 4 years. And granted, that's because of COVID and because he's Nolan level hates streamers.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's good because he's Mr. Box Office now. Like, think about it. He's doing Top Gun movies, Mission Impossible movies, and like a Jack Reacher once in a while. And it's like, but he's not doing anything like he used to, like, you know, do Magnolia or like Born on the 4th of July. He's not doing that stuff anymore. And hey, power to you. I'm cool with it. I like the idea of him being a movie star, especially because, like, you know, I look at this and, you know, the people that want to like bring up stuff about him and stuff. It's like, well, he is a movie star. Movie stars are also phony. And he has that delectable phoniness to him where it's just like, you know, you see him like when he comes out of a room, it's like smiling and waving at everybody. I'm like, well, I bet he's kind of an asshole in real life, but I don't care right now. He's lovely.
I don't know. Ever since he kept, I would think, wasn't I?
Trust me, it's bad.
Wasn't I texting you about this afterwards?
Yes.
I was like, my favorite part of Top Gun was when he kept Katie Holmes in a relationship she didn't want to be in for 5 years.
That's what I mean. Like that's the movie star level of him. Is you like somehow because of that charm, you are hypnotized and you end up overlooking that bad, even though you know it's there. And that's what he is. Like, look, he's got jobs all the time. I mean, because like he literally like convinced several different prime ministers of several different countries to film in their like shut down areas and like launch subs and motorcycle. He just like goes into a room and he's just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then just walks out. It's like, "We can film here now."
Oh my god, it's so funny though because I see like for Top Gun, I get it after seeing the movie, and I'm sure maybe I'll understand it after I see Mission Impossible. But I feel like Mission Impossible stunts are like Fast and the Furious-esque, like just ridiculous. And I'm like, there's one where he's flying off like the side of a mountain or whatever, and I'm like, why? What's going on?
But the difference is he's actually flying off the side of the mountain. The Fast and Furious, it's an animated car that's doing that. And like, you know,
those insurance policies on those movies must be insane. That's all I think about as a risk management guy.
He broke his foot on the last one.
Lucky he didn't break more. Speaking of breaking, this broke last week that Daredevil is actually getting the Disney Plus reboot. We're not quite sure if it's a continuation, what's actually happening, but they are moving forward with a Disney Plus Daredevil series, and they have brought on Matt Corman and Chris Ord to write and executive produce. They are the co-creators of Covert Affairs, which was a really popular show for 5 seasons back on USA Network. They've also worked on things like The Enemy Within, and I believe there was a really funny I'm trying to remember what I saw that Matt Corman was working on, and I was like, oh boy, this isn't going to be good. He worked on the ever popular Deck the Halls movie.
There was a time where there was several different like Christmas decoration movie battle movies together, and
yeah, Christmas was big that year. But this is cool. I mean, I honestly have not watched the original Daredevil series on Netflix, and I really want to because I've heard great things about it. It has a really great following. I know there's a lot of concern as to whether or not Disney Plus is going to try to like take away the maturity of the original series, which I guess could be a concern, but I don't know based on some things that we've seen recently. But I'm excited that they're giving Charlie Cox some more work to do because he's really good as the character.
I mean, you look at the concern about it being like dumbed down by Disney. Like, first of all, they have those first, I believe, 3 seasons up there, so those are on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, they're going to say, oh, we can't do, like the next original amount we're going to do is going to be a little bit more toned down. Like the other stuff is streaming there. I also think like people do need to set. Daredevil is a dark show. It was violent on Netflix. It was not. From what I remember, it was not horrifically violent. And this is coming from a guy like who doesn't have kids or like has to view anything in that sort of necessary evil. But I look at this kind of thing. It's not like hardcore violence. It's more of like the dark tint. It's more of the dark implications that occur there. And so, like you're saying, with some of the Marvel stuff, that's already there. I love this. I don't know what it would look like. I mean, regardless, it's still going to be made by like a different studio, and so there's going to be a difference to it. I'm one of those people that loved Daredevil at first, and then I do think it sort of fell apart a a little bit. And I don't want to say why for those that may want to watch it, like Joe. But there was like some moments that sort of fell apart for me, so I did actually give up on it, I think. So I might jump back in and see what's going on. But this is good. Everyone, you know what? This is good. Why is this good though? Because everyone's excited.
Yeah.
Like the reaction was like I reacted skeptically. Everyone else reacted with like joy. It was like the liberation of France. They were just hey. And so I was just like, okay, fine. Like,
do you hear the people sing?
Oh God, I'll take it. I'll jump back into it now that it's going to be a little bit more famous. I bet.
Sean, if I was to tell you that there was a long ago released film that is getting a sequel that was one of the top 3 most viewed movies on Netflix in December, what would you say it is?
I would have to guess Law Abiding Citizen.
That is correct.
I read my notes.
Law Abiding Citizen is a movie that was actually based in Philadelphia, which is kind of funny because nothing looked like Philadelphia. But it has to do, it starred Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx, and it followed assistant director Nick Rice, played by Fox, in pursuit of Clyde Shelton, played by Butler, a frustrated father who implements an elaborate and twisted plan to bring down the entire judicial system in Philadelphia after a plea bargain sets free the man who murdered his wife and daughter. That is the synopsis from Deadline. This is getting a sequel. The original was grossed $130 million, which isn't bad. They have Gerard Butler attached to produce. I don't know about starring, or I can't remember what happened at the end of the first one, to be honest. The original writer is returning.
That's good.
But yeah, this was one of the top 3 movies behind Red Notice and The Unforgivable on Netflix, which is kind of crazy. And those, of course, were just star power and new films. But yeah, that's kind of wild. So Law Abiding Citizen coming back. You and I, we're talking about this offline. I feel like I brought this up at some point in the past few weeks. I can't remember when I did, but I was trying to recall this movie, or I guess I was getting it confused with something else. So it's just kind of weird that now they're like, this story broke. I was like, get out of my head.
There's an abundant amount of people that always bring up Law Abiding Citizen to me. Like, it's just like, oh, you like movies? Have you seen Law Abiding Citizen? I'm like, that's the marker. Like, I don't understand that. It's shocking that it gets that much of a following, because I remember when it came out, I was like, all right, well, this is garbage crime, which is a fine genre of movie, but it is just like, it's like, oh, there's intricate crime thing happening. It was at the time where like Gerard Butler's celebrity was up and Jamie Foxx's celebrity was up, but it kind of felt like that was one of their like on the way down movies. And not to disrespect them, they're both doing fine now, but I don't know. Like something like this is like, it doesn't feel like this has the plot for a sequel. I also can't say shit because I've never seen the movie.
You have to see it. You have to see it.
I should see it now. Well, now that it's making a sequel, it looks like it's throwing, and it's on Netflix, so I guess I'm going to throw it on. I bet I'll enjoy it. I bet it sounds like it's something that's like fun and like fascinating. But I don't know. You even said it yourself, where you're like, I don't really know what happened at the end. So it's like, oh, must not have a lasting effect.
Well, no, just because it was so long ago. Like I remember, and this was before I was like doing the movie thing. So it was, God, I mean, how many movies have I watched since then? I don't even want to count. As everyone probably knows, I continue to look for news as we're doing this, just to make sure that we're on top of everything. And I just saw this tweet, and I really want to share it because I think it's so damn funny. Of course, if you saw the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder last night, there's a naked Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yes,
I'm starting to sense a theme, and they show the naked Hulk from the last one.
I mean, it is unbelievable because they show Hulk's ass in Ragnarok, but it seems like, I mean, this is just the trailer, mind you, but it seems like they're gonna like censor the Hemsworth ass, but I don't know.
I'm fascinated about what's going on with this movie because I don't really understand. But I kind of love that. I don't know how I feel about this and whether I love it or not, but Rita Moreno has joined the cast of Fast 10. And I don't know how to feel about it. She's going to play Dom Toretto's grandmother, Vin Diesel's grandmother. She's part of the family.
That's 4 Oscar-winning women in the Fast and the Furious franchise. That's 4 now. Charlize Theron, Brie Larson, Rita Moreno, and Helen Mirren. And I mean, I don't know. We talked about this already today, and obviously I reacted in a ridiculous fashion, like of anger. But I'm trying to look at the positive on this, and it's one of those things where if you're gonna have something that's cheesy and stupid, I guess have some good talent in there too for fun. I mean, it is fun to like have Helen Mirren, like, in Fast 9 for one scene, say, "Hit the e-brake for me, will you, darling?" Like, there's something there where it's just like, okay, she's like, she literally went on set for one day to do this. I love the idea of this. I will say this means they'll probably maybe explore like the Dom flashbacks a little bit more. Oh wait, probably not. I don't know. But if they do, that was a fascinating part of F9, like, seeing that kind of stuff. So maybe that could be interesting. But yeah, I mean, obviously my initial reaction is anger, ridiculous. What the hell is this? But when it comes down to it, it's like, well, this movie's going to exist no matter what. Throw some talent in there for a couple of minutes and like, hopefully it makes it something better.
Rita Moreno. I can't. I thought it was fake at first. And then I found out that it was Vin Diesel in a video with Michelle Rodriguez on his Instagram that announced it.
Was that Michelle Rodriguez? I was going to ask you who the other person was. I did not recognize her.
She looks good.
She looked good. Yeah, it looked good. I just didn't really recognize it. That's something.
I have nothing more to say about that because there's
not much to say.
I don't get it. Who's next?
Oh,
Who's
there's
next?
going to be. Well, let's see.
Anthony Hopkins.
I mean, it's not up. Shut it. Well,
Robert De Niro.
I won't lie. Anthony Hopkins is a spectacular actor, but he will also cut a paycheck. I mean, he narrated Transformers: Night of the Moon, Dark Moon Night. So
there's the Last Night.
Maybe. I don't know which one he narrated. I don't know if it was Dark of the Moon or The Last Night. The fact that I know that many titles of Transformers, we're moving on.
We're moving on. Bong Joon-ho has set his next film, and it has entered pre-production. I didn't realize it was a sci-fi film. So it's going to be a sci-fi film starring Robert Pattinson, and we have additional stars here. Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, Naomi Aki, which is quite the cast. I actually really like that for something there. It's based on the novel called Mickey 7. And I'm trying to get a quick synopsis here. Let me see. Follows Mickey 7, an expendable, a disposable employee on a human expedition sent to colonize the ice world Niflheim. Whenever there's a mission that's too dangerous, even suicidal, the crew turns to Mickey. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of its memories intact. After 6 deaths, Mickey 7 understands the terms of the deal and why it was the only colonial position unfilled when he took it. That seems really deep.
Awesome. That's some like that's like that heavy sci-fi kind of move. I like that.
It says per Deadline that the film will be inspired by the book, but there may well be diversions. So cool. I'm into it. Hey, good for Robert Pattinson with Bong Joon-ho. That's like that. Actually, I would fully expect that from him based off the directors that he's worked with in the past.
He jumps right into auteurs. It would be really interesting to see how this goes because people were commenting that oh wow, Bong Joon-ho has a big celebrity cast. And I'm like, this ain't the first film where he's had a big celebrity cast. He's gone from the one with the like big pig, I can't remember, Okja, and also Snowpiercer. And you go through those two where actually Snowpiercer is quite the sci-fi as well. I mean, not as sci-fi, but I did get some shades of it here where it's like the dystopian level. So he like Bong Joon-ho could do the ambition. I mean, we all know Parasite. We all love Parasite. And that was a more contained type of movie with actors we may not have heard of before. But looking at something like this, he seems like he's going back to like, a little bit more of a wider span. And he does a great job doing that kind of stuff. So I'm in.
Yeah. I think what's going to be really fascinating is to see how he capitalizes off of the success of Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that influences anything he does moving forward. Like I feel like success like that can alter your approach. I don't know. It would be interesting to see.
It is interesting because it does seem like he's not like, that's what I like about it is it seems like he's like, I'm just making my next movie. It's going to be like a sci-fi action adventure. I'm not going for, another Oscar. I'm going like for something that I haven't done before. It's nothing big. I'm not trying to top Parasite, which is very fascinating. That's one of the levels is he's not trying to top Parasite.
Yeah.
Maybe he will, but it doesn't seem like he's attempting it. That's the big thing, because I don't think it's possible to like just for the cultural impact of Parasite. I don't think it's possible, even if
Parasite
it is.
was so wild. Oh my
It's
gosh.
so, like that. Remember that year, dude? That happened. Like that's nuts.
Oh my god, that was wild. What's also wild is that Bad Boys 4 is not actually on hold, which had been the rumor. So Bad Boys for Life came out 2 years ago now? I can't even remember.
Oh god,
2001?
No. I think it was. Oh god, was it before the pandemic? Because everyone was making the. Yeah, it was January of 2020
Yeah, you're right.
because everyone was making the cracks that only Bad Boys for Life is eligible for Oscars before they changed the rules.
And honestly, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
They did a good job with it. I love the Bad Boys series, so of course they're going to look to make another one. And there was a lot of question after the incident at the Oscars this year between Chris Rock and Will Smith as to whether or not they would move forward with this project, given that some projects with Will Smith had been put on hold, namely the one that was at Netflix that I'm completely forgetting. Oh, Bright 2.
God.
And then also, oh my gosh, what the slavery film set in
Emancipation.
Emancipation. That got delayed, I think. I think they just like moved it. They're like,
They
let's
pushed it back a year. Yeah.
Which, come on, you can't tell me that wasn't in response to.
Oh god, it definitely was.
But apparently, speaking with Sony's chairman Tom Rothman, and this is according to Deadline via Slash Film, the movie's been in development and it still is. I've known Will Smith for many years, and I know him to be a good person. That was an example of a very good person having a very bad moment in front of the world. I believe his apology and regret is genuine, and I believe in forgiveness and redemption. Hey, you know what? Good for him for standing by him, I guess. Like, I like the statement, and I think someone has to in order to like move us past this. And there's still work that has to be done on Will Smith's part to redeem himself. But I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see if it affects returns for the movie at all.
Yeah, it's going to be really tricky because right now the whole situation is still bad. A year from now, it might still be bad. But I think, by the time Bad Boys 4 is like made and released and all of that stuff, this will like lower it down. And like you said, it's interesting on the returns. I don't know. I don't want to like lump the fans of Bad Boys into like one corner, but they might not care terribly about this, especially in quite a lot of time. What's going to be interesting is how Emancipation is received. Like, just in general, I don't have I'm not a big Antoine Fuqua fan anyway, so I didn't have a lot of faith in this movie anyway. But regardless of that, like, it's going to be interesting because they're definitely, the people involved in Bad Boys 4 are definitely kind of going to be looking at that and looking at how that happens. Granted, it's streaming, so we're not going to really know, but based on Oscar rules, it'll be in a theater if they want to like try to like make some of that happen. But regardless, it'll be really interesting to see like, how that's appreciated. And then they'll sort of know, crap, we made a mistake, or maybe it'll still be okay. Maybe we'll ride it out a few more years, but this is people that like have a good relationship with someone and are like still want to back them and still want to go for it.
But I mean, what you're saying makes a lot of sense if they're going to wait on the script and development of the film, but we're talking a year away.
Yeah.
So they're going to, I think this is going to start moving a little bit quicker. I'm sure they're already in the process of, script development and all that stuff. So I imagine the green light would probably come prior to Emancipation coming out, because at that point it will already be 3 years since the last one.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not getting any younger. I mean, like, there was a lot of time.
Pretty old looking.
Yeah, there was a lot of time between the second and the third, but I mean, they want to capitalize on the third one being a success. I don't know that they will have lightning strike twice if they wait long again.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting without a doubt. Yeah, you're right. Like, they probably already have a script written. Like, they already probably did like pretty close after like Bad Boys for Life happened, and they already said like, hey, this was successful. Let's get like just like a script going. Like, let's get some people going. Let's start to like make the process on this. And then I imagine maybe like there was a slight hold, or like maybe someone leaked that info, and then they said like, hey, we're holding this. And obviously it went a little bit further, but.
Yeah, it's interesting because thinking back to script development, or think in the vein of script development and in the spirit of script development, when, not to bring this up, but when Walter Hamada, the head of DC, was talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and script development and Amber Heard's involvement and all that, he mentioned that the first script for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom came in 2018, and the film wasn't even released. The first one wasn't even released till December 2018. So it's just interesting how they, may already be far in terms of development of the script. It's just, or maybe not, who knows? But like, that was just a really interesting example of.
I've written one screenplay, and it took me like 5 years, and nothing's happening with it.
You wrote a screenplay?
I wrote a screenplay.
Why have we not spoken about this?
I thought because I'm like desperately ashamed of it.
Why are you ashamed of it?
I don't know, because it's probably bad.
Does it have third act problems? That's what it should be called.
$1 million it does.
Third act problems by Sean Phillips.
That is a way better title.
Well, listen, I regret to inform you that there's 2 actors that are not going to be available for your upcoming production of your screenplay. One is that Taraji P. Henson has signed on for the Paw Patrol sequel. And Samuel L. Jackson has signed on to star alongside Chris Pratt in the animated Garfield film.
Who is he playing? Are you going to say that? Because I'm looking through the article.
It doesn't say.
Okay, that actually makes me more mad.
Oh, wait, yes, it does. Jackson will play a brand new character, Garfield's father, Vic.
So let's just I just need this to be said out loud. Samuel L. Jackson is playing Chris Pratt's father. Okay.
Chris Pratt is also Mario, so.
We're not going to do that today because I can't. Like right now, I got the brain space. Also, like shout out to Deadline for their article where it starts off with Samuel L. Jackson from The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. If you don't know Samuel L., that's the limited series to bring him out of.
Oh my God! Well, hey, this is turning into a really interesting film.
I just don't even know how Chris Pratt's going to be Garfield. Like when you had Bill Murray in there as the lazy cat, that was like actually perfect casting. So we're done with it. And now you have someone who's like notably hyper or just a muted action star playing a cartoon cat, which I don't really understand that. I mean, if he played John Arbuckle, that would have been fun.
I was thinking that.
Like that would have been actually like a lot of fun. That's like, fun, charismatic, just like, man about town. But I'm apparently from the 50s. But instead, it's just Jackson will play a brand new character, Garfield's father, Vic.
That is something, huh?
That's so tough to settle with. I'm having trouble like coming up with like anything to just. I mean, hey, well, okay. You know what? Samuel L. Jackson's voice is iconic, gifted voice actor. If you can get him, throw him in there. I guess I'm trying to do some sort of like this is me Rito Moreno-ing, and
Rito Moreno. Special. Well, that's the news for the week. Listen, I want to propose that we forego rants and raves this week because it doesn't feel right that we don't mention what happened today.
I agree.
Given that we've talked about stuff in the past when it's really affected us, and especially you in your role as a school teacher. But there was yet another deadly shooting today in Texas, and 14 children in an elementary school, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, were gunned down and killed, as well as a teacher, by an 18-year-old high school student, which is just absolutely terrifying. And we don't know any details or any further details or anything like that. And we're not going to get into it here, but just recognizing that there is senseless violence continuing to happen. How many days since the shooting of the Taiwanese Christian worshippers at a church, and then prior to that it was the predominantly African-American all African-American victims at all Black victims at a grocery store. So
at this point I am numb to it, which is disgusting that I'm numb to it. And I'm having trouble feeling anything. And the incessant and constant like actions of this is just driving me nuts. And I mean, there's millions of different like things to be said. There's millions of different takes to be said, and takes to have. But I can't have any of those except for just be appreciative to the life you have, because people are having a much more horrible day than you. Just like it is just it's disgusting. You know, please vote. Please stay informed of everything you can. Both local and national, and just recognize the good in your life, because there's a lot of bad out there right now.
I should update and say that as of 8:06 p.m. Eastern on this Tuesday that we're recording,
Very good.
The target is now, or the target, Jesus, oh my gosh, the total is now 18 children and 1 teacher. And from what I had read earlier, there was still like a dozen or so in the hospital in some sort of condition. So it's concerning. But I don't mean to be flippant, but like, we live in this country where what the fuck's going to happen?
It's, I swear to God, I did not even blink an eye when I heard it today. And that's the part that scares me the most. I should be stunned. I should be, I mean, I'm obviously upset, but I should be like way more upset. I should be like absolutely like thrown overboard with it. But instead, I'm just, I was not surprised at all. And that's the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, I'm sure that we'll continue watching what's going on and reading more about it and learning more about it. And hopefully we'll be able to find ways to take action and try to make an impact in some way, because something needs to be done. And we don't mean to end on a negative note, but it's important for us. Chris Evans just tweeted 2 hours ago, fucking enough.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So I love that. But let's wrap up with kind of what we can look at to distract ourselves and kind of have some fun this weekend, because we all need to balance out, the craziness in the world. Top Gun Maverick hits theaters. The Bob's Burgers movie hits theaters. And Emergency hits Prime Video. I can't wait for you to see Emergency.
I furiously because I heard somewhere that Emergency was out on Prime Video this past weekend. I was like furiously searching. I was so mad. I wanted to watch it so bad.
I think they did limited theaters last weekend. I think that's what it was. We also want to encourage everyone to join our Patreon. It's still only $2 a month. There's some fun content there already. Some more fun content coming down the road. And please follow us on all the socials and the YouTubes and stuff like that. I've really got my YouTube going and I'm having a good time with it. So
you have been like going nuts. How's that been going?
I'm getting into a groove. I think that was the biggest challenge, right? Is just like getting into the routine and figuring out what works for me. And I'll start I'm already figuring out ways to improve my videos and other ways. So it's fun. We're getting into, we mentioned it maybe last week, but we're getting into festival season. So I have a lot of fun interviews that I'm working on setting up and a lot of good content coming to that channel. And then we're going to have fun content coming that I have to talk to you about.
Fun. I'm excited.
Fun. Well, Sean, once again, happiest of birthdays, 21 years old. What a wild feat.
Can finally drink.
Maybe some scotch. Who knows?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. And I'll see you next week. As always, thanks for listening. You can follow both Joe and Sean on Instagram at Guy at the Movies and Math Teacher Movies. New episodes of the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean are available every Wednesday morning, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, be on the lookout for special spoiler pods, where we dive deep into the latest film releases. If you like what you hear, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.